Hey, it's Bruce Hill, New Skills, New You. Of leaders or readers. So currently reading, I took the cover up, Taking Care of Your People by Paul Sarvadi. So this book is written by the founder, and I believe he's still, is he CEO or chairman of a company called Insperity. It's $5 or $6 billion publicly traded company. And it was started the year I was born. And that's a really cool thing to see a company grow and evolve. And it's very interesting that it's still managed by the person that founded it. That's pretty rare. So the insights that he has are profound, of not just for their longevity, but for the results they've created, for their effectiveness. And and I've met him, which is also really cool to meet people from books you've read, or reading, and for companies that have achieved such a high level of success. You know, 1,000 employees. I think there's over 100 offices, and it just makes sense. If you're considering growing something, growing a business, growing an enterprise or empire, like learn from someone who's done it. So I'm reading Taking Care of Your People. I'm gonna put this back on when I'm done reading. Um, and he talks about building a culture on purpose. He says that it happens by design or by default. And one of the things that I struggle with as an entrepreneur is being really good at doing everything. And I think at the early stages, you probably will have to do a lot of everything. But where people get stuck is they stay there. So instead of growing, instead of evolving, they get stuck. Instead of evolving and expanding, they're stagnant. And so they work really hard for a long time and get very little results. And I think that a singular person can probably do 500,000 or 1,000,000. But getting past that's going to require a team. And so instead of waiting 10 years to figure it out by trial and error, I really started picking up books from people who built $1 billion companies. That just seemed like a good idea to me. And what's really fascinating about reading is for, I don't know, $20 plus shipping, I can get, I think this book was written about 30 years into the company's lifespan. I can get 30 years of experience, knowledge, education for $20. And it's just a couple hundred pages. So it's not even a huge time commitment, but the reward, the benefit is enormous. So I'm looking at, let me go through some. Chapter 1 is Take Care of Your People. Chapter 2 is 10 Strategies and Decades of Wisdom. That's really why I read. I read to get new ideas. I read to get bigger ideas. I read to learn the right way to do things. What's really fun, like, well, what about the wrong way to do things? If you're busy doing it the right way, you won't have time to get it wrong. We talks about getting your culture right. He talks about finding, hiring, and keeping the best people. Yeah, that's about recruiting. That's important, right? As you grow, you want to hire and expand so you can delegate. How do we find and hire the best? He really wrote a book for the business owner. He talks about compensation, recognition, rewards, about compliance and liability management, employee performance improvement, employee administration, HR technology, human capital, mergers and acquisitions, organization and leadership, employee communications. And then I'm on currently, this is this the last chapter, faith at work. Oh no, there's one more chapter. Should we continue the conversation? That's clever. He has a chapter in here about what it's like to work with the company, how to get started. I see, this is why we read. I might have to do that for my book. In fact, I'm gonna do a video like this for my book where I'm gonna read my book, go over it. I don't plan on doing book summaries. This isn't a book club channel, although it's not a terrible idea. The goal for this channel is to grow your people so you can grow your business, right? One new skill will change your life. Right now, we're focused on making sales simple. But as I grow and expand, right, as the knowledge I tap into expands and my experience expands, that's going to cover all areas of personal and professional development, right? From personality testing to leadership development, communication skills. That's a big one I see. And I really want to do some training on artificial intelligence, not just using it, but security, compliance, and ethics. But you have to start at the beginning. So one of the goals for this channel is to provide you insights into the vision, as far as you with the journey, right? I don't want you to just look at the end like, oh, we made $1 million this month, but how did they get there? So it's 17th of June of 2025. I'm working on my fourth book, Better Questions, Better Clients. I'm working on bigger ways to serve. And I wish I'm going to start carrying those awards around with me. Just won some awards. Shout out to Book Profits Club. I got the Educator of the Year award. It starts here, but you don't have to stay here. And that's the other part. I hope that this is an inspiration for you. You say, hey, someone else is just making progress. Someone else is showing up every day. That should be inspiration and motivation for you to keep going, showing up every day. And I want to show those steps along the journey. And hopefully those steps will help you along your journey. What's really beautiful at the stage, I've been speaking for 30 years, training and sales for over 10 years. So now I'm learning the skill of growing a business. And that's another skill. That's another set of activities of learning that has to happen. One of my favorite conversations, I need to call him, check in on him. I said, what podcast are you listening to? He's like, oh, I listen to 30 Minutes of Presence Club. And I said, man, that's a great podcast for individual contributors. I was like, but what are you listening to grow as a leader? And there's a pause. He's like, I don't know. So, well, listen, if you just want to stay in your role, he closes some big deals. I think the last one he did was like 2.3 million. If you want to get better at doing that, then keep doing what you're doing. But if you want to get better at being a speaker, you need to hang out with speakers. If you want to get better at running a business, you should get in an environment where there are business owners. If you want to get better at marketing, and so on and so on, one new skill will change your life. So if you keep doing the same skill, you're going to get better at that skill. And that's fine if that's the direction you're going. And that's where the books I read, the people I hang around with, the conference I go to are changing, because I realize that I was going to put myself on a path where I was just an entrepreneur forever, just hustling forever. And I don't know if you can build any level of sustainable wealth just hustling. You have to start building systems. You have to work on your leadership skills. You have to create or buy assets that pay you. And I don't just mean houses or land. So this is not investment advice, but I'm talking about writing a book. That's an asset, right? A trademark. That's an asset. Shout out to Rosina, the business lawyer. You have to start thinking like a business owner if you want to build a business. Now, maybe you say, well, Bruce, I'm an individual contributor. Same advice. It's communication, leadership, discipline, learning, and sales, right? I don't care what role you're in. Those are 5 skills I recommend. If you're a people leader, you're like, well, Bruce, I really don't want to start a business. Okay, that's fine. How can you be a better leader? Books like Fierce Conversations by Susan Scott, um, Radical Candor by, is that Kim Scott? If it is, that's funny, hilarious. Um, the 21 Laws of Leadership, John Maxwell. Good Leaders Ask Great Questions by John Maxwell. Like, what are you investing in yourself so you can invest more in your people? And so when I create videos like this, it's to lead by example. So it's Tuesday, it's 7 a.m. sometime. You see the sun coming up on my shoulder. Like, where are you growing so that everything else around you grows? That's why this channel is called New Skills, New You. I know right now I'm talking about making sales simple, talking about asking better questions, because that's what I'm working on right now. But that's a step forward, not a stop. Ultimately, we're investing in you, pouring into you, so you grow, your people grow, your business grows. Cheers to your success.